Yeah, and I guess going towards the sound aspect that you mentioned briefly, how would you say sounding in a language, because accents and pitch across various languages are definitely essential or vital to, I guess, fluency toward in a definition, right? So I guess for your fluent in 3 months, or purely your definition of fluency, where would you say the pitch kind of goes into that and how you approach that angle?
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept, and I put considerable time into learning like the musicality of several languages that I have taken on. But realistically, I do not think that's a good use of people's time when they're just about reaching the beginning stages of fluency, because yes, you're going to have an accent and you just need to get over that. So many people are so obsessed with the fact that I need to sound like a Japanese native speaker that they're losing sight of what they could potentially still do with an accent. Even though you have an accent, you could still make friends. You could still have a rich life in the country. Now, when I'm at the advanced stages in a language, this is something I've done with my top languages. So for instance, with my Portuguese, I had a project, and I blogged about this, where I wanted by the end of my project to potentially make actual Brazilians think that I was Brazilian. And the great thing about Brazil is you have every ethnicity there. So the fact that I was a white guy, you don't have that challenge that I would have in Japan, that obviously take one look at me, I'm clearly not Japanese, you know? But the way I did it was I got singing lessons. And a language teacher can be very, very smart about all those information points about how the grammar is, expressions, all that. But generally, language teachers are lacking in these truly phonetic understandings of how to express how their language sounds. So, like, she was teaching me that in Germanic languages like English, we separate our words like this. But when you're speaking Portuguese from Brazil, you gotta go up and down all the time and speak through your nose. And she got me to do this consistently so that I really got that accent down. And the pitch, the tonality, all of these things are so crucial if you want to sound like a native speaker, but that's not essential until you're at that stage. My Portuguese is at a C-level stage. I've learned plenty of it. I've had so many experiences. I've given talks in Portuguese. So it's at the level where I'm ready and I'm able to move on to that. Whereas in the intermediate stages, it's just not a good use of my time, because the goal is, can I have smooth communication with this person? And I want that communication to be as smooth as possible. That needs to be your priority. And this is all coming back to the Pareto principle. What are the 20% of the things that are going to give you 80% of the results? And working on your pitch and your intonation and your pronunciation is not something that belongs in that 20% when you're an intermediate level speaker. And this is a tough pill to swallow, because people hate having an accent, and it's just part of the game. And I just accept, as an intermediate level speaker, I have to have an accent. I'll get around to, if I push this language into the advanced stages, I'll get around to all those other things. And if I do get around to them, then I would generally work with somebody with a bit of a musical background, and they would train me to have that particular accent in essence. That, you know, I now, with the likes of my Spanish, for instance, I can switch between European Spanish and Argentine Spanish, and most recently Mexican Spanish intonation and like sound to the language. I wouldn't necessarily say they would think I'm a native speaker in those languages like I achieved in Portuguese, but it definitely has changed my experience with those people, that they feel like I'm one of their group. It does make a difference when you're ready to make that difference. The people's mentality about you changes. They don't think of you as the foreigner as much, and they invite you to different things. It works on a subconscious level, but it's only useful when you're already at the advanced stage in the language.